Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today I want to make a little life update video. It's been, over 2 weeks since I've posted a video, and frankly, you guys have noticed it. The videos might be more scarce as of recently, and that's because my employer has come up with some new certifications that they want me to get, and actually some previous ones. So they want me to have the trifecta for CompTIA cybersecurity. If you guys don't know, I work in cybersecurity, so before I got my current job, I had the CompTIA Security Plus and the CYSA Plus. And just this past week, I tested and got my Network Plus, and I'll be getting also the A Plus. And I also, just for funsies, by the end of the year, I want to get the new CompTIA Sec AI Plus. So I got a whole list of certifications I'm going for this year. So that's kind of been taking up the majority of my time. Well, as you guys know, I am 25, and I hit about a month ago. I hit a portfolio milestone that I've been waiting for a while, and that is officially six figures in my portfolio. That's blended between my Roth IRA and my regular brokerage account. I'll put a screenshot on screen of my total as I'm recording this. I am sitting at just over 105,000 in my total portfolio, and that is roughly broken up between almost 90 of that, honestly, is in my Roth, and then I got another 18 to 19 in my regular brokerage. So the mass majority is in my Roth because I've had it for the longest time. And I will post here. You'll see my returns chart that you guys can see. And I started back in May of 2020. I just missed the V bottom, the COVID V bottom, unfortunately. Otherwise, I could have had a lot better returns. But, as you guys know, I used to be a big index baby, and I don't necessarily hate on people that do that. I think that's kind of standard practice, but I used to just heavily invest in the NASDAQ. I believed in technology. I got a little bit of a return going into 2022, and then obviously we saw the down year in 22 for just everything tech. So that was a rough year, but essentially, I maxed out my Roth IRA and I kept dollar cost averaging and buying into the NASDAQ as it went down. And then, it eventually recovered and I got decent returns. I think before I switched to doing, our new investing strategy with, my friend Parker, which I've had him on the channel in several videos, I think I was averaging about 8% return. So, the NASDAQ's doing a lot better now. I was investing in the NASDAQ when it was underperforming, but I had about an 8% average return. And then so far in the past year, since doing our new strategy, I'm honestly pushing 20% return, which is awesome. No, I'm not someone who bought all into like something like Intel and got 500% return in a month. That's not how we do things. That's not how I do things. Frankly, I don't think that's sustainable. But, it has gotten significantly better for me. And, I marked on the chart exactly where, the new strategy started. And you can kind of see the volatility grow, but also the returns grow. And, in case you guys don't know, we have a strategy where we invest in undervalued companies that pay a pretty decent dividend. And, going from index to single securities like stocks, you're just naturally going to have a lot more volatility, and that's a wave that you have to be willing to ride. And, know if a company's properly valued or not. Again, there's a lot of greed right now in the markets. A lot of people are buying a lot of tech-related stocks. SpaceX just went public, and so that made Elon Musk the first trillionaire ever. And I think it has, even though it's not really making money, not really. It has over a $2 trillion valuation. So you can just see kind of how much greed is out there right now. And I think it's mainly because SpaceX, I think, is, a lot of federal government contracts and they're backed federally. So there's a lot of monetary backing of the company, which I guess would justify, or a lot of people claim would justify that evaluation. But yeah, so six-figure portfolio, age 25. I feel like that's pretty good. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say, I went from rags to riches. If you guys have seen my previous videos, you know that, I grew up in a stable middle-class household. I had boomer parents that helped me a lot. They got me through college debt-free. So all that, helps. I was able to get several cyber jobs coming out of college. which I know a lot of you, if you're in cyber, you're probably struggling to do that. The job market really sucks right now. Uh, and to be honest, I still don't believe that that's, I think it's a good milestone for where I'm at in life, but obviously the goal is we got to keep growing that sucker because that's just not going to be nearly enough going forward. I couldn't imagine, having kids right now at 25. I know people that do it, have a lot of kudos to them. Obviously I don't know how they do it because everything just seems so damn expensive and so damn competitive right now. I couldn't imagine doing that, but I just kind of wanted to post a life update. I hit this big milestone. It's something I wanted to celebrate. There is something about, they always say the first 100,000 is the hardest to get and it gets better from here. I definitely hope so. The goal is by the end of 27, I want to have, 50K in my brokerage that I can withdraw. And me and my buddies, we want to start, our own kind of like investment group. And so we want to pool money together in order to invest together, in order to make, more money, because you pool more money, you can make more money. So that's kind of the goal in my short term. Also, when it comes to certifications in cyber, I also have goals in my career path. Again, trying to plan for, it's hard to do, but AI is taking over more and more in the cyberspace. And like I said in the past, I don't think it's going to replace all cyber jobs, but there's definitely days where I feel more doomer, that's for sure. And especially when you hear about, I think IBM, financially they were struggling, but it sounds like they're replacing all their tier one SOC analysts with like their AI agents, which there's several big name AI agents going around replacing SOCs and cybersecurity work and things like that. In order to kind of like prepare myself for that, obviously I'm going for a lot of CompTIA certs because they have a lot of just HR weight in general. Also, next year, I want to do more like practical hands-on certifications like Blue Team Level 1. And then for 2028, I want to get some higher level certs like Security X for CompTIA and the CISSP. The CISSP being the gold standard certification, as you guys are probably aware if you're in my field. But that's kind of like my plan financially and career-wise over the next 2.5 years. Something also I've felt is if things got hairy enough, I think I would also join the Air Force. I think I would be willing to do that. I would want to try and get a contract that would, to the best of their ability, guarantee me a spot somewhere in some kind of cyber division to do what I like doing, what I've been trained to do. But, that's a conversation for another day, and that's assuming things get really bad. But, we'll see. The future's uncertain. No one really knows where we're headed. So the goal of this milestone of me hitting six figures in my, in my portfolio is all about, preparing for that doomsday worst case scenario and whatnot. And I hope you guys, can also do that as well and improve your own financial positions for whatever uncertain future we're about to come across. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about anything specific that I've invested in, I know I've created some videos already talking about United Healthcare and General Mills and H&R Block. You can check out those videos if you're curious, but if you have any questions specifically on, what I might do for my strategy or things I'm thinking about buying, things like that, definitely comment, let me know. But thank you guys for watching. That's all for now. Peace.